Hey friends, my name is Gabrielle and welcome to FrumiousReads, and today we are talking about what to read when you don't feel like reading. This is kind of a tongue twister topic, and it's a bit tricky to talk about because it's not something that a lot of people really mention on BookTube, or people mention it in terms of, oh, I'm going through a reading slump, but no one really talks about what that exactly means. So for this video, I'm going to define it, and the terms I'm going to define it by are when you have been feeling like you want to read, but you just can't seem to get the motivation or the energy to do so. So basically in this video, instead of giving you guys specific books to read, I'm going to be doing more suggestions and then following up those suggestions with a book as an example. Now, first and foremost, I think the number one thing you should do if you don't feel like reading is maybe give yourself that much of a break. After I finished my book a day challenge in 2016, I decided I needed to take a reading break because the idea of reading another book was enough to drive me crazy. Sometimes it's really healthy to give yourself a week or a couple weeks or even a couple months or a year, who knows, and really just give yourself that time that you need to take a break from reading, to let your mind rest and recharge and really start missing the act of reading again. Sometimes that's the best thing to do, and I'd just like to mention that first and foremost just in case, because sometimes people try to push themselves with books and it's like, books are supposed to be fun. Don't do this and don't torture yourself with them because then you're never going to want to start reading. Beyond that, the other thing, what I am actually recommending you to read if you don't feel like reading is try reading a comic book or a graphic novel or something with pictures, an online comic, something like that. Now, specifically, I am recommending, if you are looking for a graphic novel to read, Hero Hotel by Yehudi Mercado. This is kind of a spoof book, basically talking about a hotel where superheroes come to stay and kind of all the misadventures they have there, and told from the perspective of Chet, whose grandmother runs the hotel. It's a really hilarious story. It's kind of very tongue-in-cheek, very funny, basically makes fun of this whole wave of superheroes. So it's a really funny just little book, and it was one that I was reading when I was kind of going through my reading slump, and it kind of got me really excited to get back into reading more. And honestly, I feel like comics and graphic novels are great because they expose you to a different type of medium, so that's why I'm recommending you try and pick up a comic or graphic novel. And if you're looking for a specific recommendation, Hero Hotel. Definitely amazing. All right, my next recommendation if you are going through a reading slump is to try to read a cookbook. Now, I know this may sound strange, but so many cookbooks now are coming out and they have this whole storytelling side to it. It's not just opening a book and getting the recipe, but you're opening a book and hearing about a story from someone's youth or a story of something funny that happened, and that somehow segues to the recipe. So, I mean, it's just an interesting way to start reading something, you know? And I'd like to recommend, this is a cookbook that I currently have displayed in my kitchen, 50 Shades of Chicken by F.L. Flower, and it is a parody in a cookbook. Basically, these are all chicken-based recipes written in the style of 50 Shades of Grey. Now, and there is a whole narrative along with this, and I'm going to be using it for an upcoming Books and Cooks series, which we're getting back into, so make sure you keep your eyes peeled for that. But I think cookbooks are really fun, especially now because people put so much more story into them. So if you're having a hard time reading, then maybe the best thing to do is just to go pick up a cookbook and see what's inside. Also, you might get hungry and eat some food, so that's always a benefit too. And the final thing that I'm recommending for those who don't want to read anymore is to jump into a genre that maybe you have not tried in a while. So for example, I was getting out of my reading slump and I was tired of reading YA. I was tired of reading sci-fi, I was tired of reading fantasy, I was tired of reading just general contemporary fiction, and I kind of had forgotten that I absolutely loved true crime. So I hadn't read a true crime book in a while, and I finally picked up a book, and it was Midnight in Mexico by Alfredo Corchado, and he is a reporter who lived in Mexico and reported a lot about the cartels that are active in the country. I read this book, and it kind of, because it was a genre I hadn't read a lot of in a while, it kind of made me open myself up more to reading again. And sure, I was just reading one or two books in this true crime genre, but I was excited to read more about this. I was excited to read more books in that genre. And generally that kind of opened me up to reading again in general. So my advice to you if you are having trouble reading is to really just maybe try a genre that you either haven't read in a while or don't know if you like, or just honestly have never read in before, because it may just be what helps you kickstart your reading again. Alright, but that does it for this video. I would love to know what you think of it in the comments down below. Were any of these tips helpful, or do you have any tips of your own you'd like to share? Let me know in the comments down below. I'd really love to hear from you. If you'd like to see more of my stuff, then make sure you subscribe to my channel. I upload Bookish videos twice a week, as well as reaction videos whenever something cool comes out that I want to react to. But for now, that's all I have for you guys today, so thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you later. Okay, bye.